My name is Jay Cruz, the all-new Cruz Show. Every morning, 5 to 10 a.m., Power 106.
He is one of the top interviewers in the game, one of the top morning show hosts in the game.
ASAP Rocky is on the all-new Cruz Show right now.
Oh, yeah.
Cardi B is on the Cruz Show. K-Dot is back on the Cruz Show. Let's go. Hey, Kendrick Lamar.
Someone who's been very influential in my life from afar, and then I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to work under him for a couple years with Los Angeles' ears at his voice. That sounds a little weird, but we have the legendary Jay Cruz.
Jeremy, my guy.
How are you doing, sir?
Thank you, bro. Great intro, by the way. Great intro.
Funny, when we first met, for anyone watching who doesn't know this, I actually snuck backstage at a charity basketball game by USC and asked him for advice. I actually still have the ticket. I carry it around.
Really?
Just to show me that anything is possible.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Sunday, September 11th, 2016. Yeah, man. I remember you, and I was telling somebody this earlier as well. It was pretty much empty. Everyone had left, and you were the only person standing there waiting to talk to me, of all people. God bless you. And we spoke, and I was with my assistant Mackenzie at the time. I remember what you said. You were like, "Yo, I just want to learn. I just want to observe, and I want to grow, man. And I think you're the person to help me out." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And I think short time after that, you became our intern.
No, but I really appreciate all that, and actually, the advice you gave me when I first came up to you.
What did I say?
So I said, what would be your one piece of advice if you were just starting out now? And you said, say yes to everything.
Yeah.
And you said, basically, every opportunity that comes your way, you got to say yes to. When you get to a certain point in your career, your time becomes more valuable.
Sure.
Your brand becomes more valuable. What's the first big thing you had to say no to?
I don't know if I've been there yet. I don't know if I've said no yet. You know what I mean? I'm still on my yes campaign. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many things, whether it's big or small, I still want to do it because it's not over.
One of the things you said yes to recently, on a whim, was flying out to Wyoming to interview Kanye.
Yeah.
What does it mean to have everybody out here with you, man?
The first time I came to the studio, I asked you, you're going through such a long day. You had 3 interviews that day, and you said, sometimes I do 8 interviews a day, but this is for the moment that one day I'll interview Kanye.
Absolutely. It's like being in the gym, and it's like training for something, training for a big fight. You know what I mean?
What did it feel like when you finally, got to sit down or stand up, with Kanye?
It was surreal, bro. It was surreal. I'll tell you something right now. I haven't told Garcia, our producer, or anybody. I almost said no to that. I almost just said I'm not going, because I was very nervous. I just wanted things to go right, and I feel like if I'm gonna interview someone, they should be here. And that's not on some ego. I just think that I'm more comfortable in my home. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I almost said no, and I almost said, like, I'm not doing it. And I would have had 8 people telling me how crazy I was, and they're right. I would have been crazy. But I went, and thank God I went. And shout out to Cece, the Mamacita, and Felly Fell. We all went out there. We were in Wyoming. I'm from Van Nuys, North Hollywood. Never been to Wyoming. Didn't know how they would receive someone that looks like me there. You know what I'm saying? But like, it was love, and it was dope.
Man, it's just so much love.
I think about it almost every day, that moment, and when he walked up and while we were there vibing. And I have so many videos of me just recording him, like, as a fan, because I'm a fan first. And I was telling you, Jeremy, is that I have a hard time, and I had a hard time in Wyoming, separating the fan and the interviewer. Like, I was so excited, and all I wanted to be like, Kanye, you damn near saved my life, bro. Thank you. I love you so much. But, you can't fan out. Really, because we have a job to do, and we got to get an interview, and he granted us that. I want to talk to my son about that moment one day.
Well, that's going to be crazy. You even made Kanye smile, which is an accomplishment in itself. Twice, I think.
3 times, my guy. One time at our show, one time here, and in Wyoming. So I'm very proud of that.
That's a life checklist. How do you balance, though, between, whether it's being a fan or not liking some of the things that people do? How do you balance the personal life versus you playing their music or you interviewing?
You have to separate that a lot, because I still have a job to do, right? And my opinion, it matters to me, but the opinion of the listener matters ultimately. With Ye, when he was talking about Trump being his boy, and he met with Trump, a lot of that stuff, most of it turned me off, but I can separate that from his music, because I can't front on his music. I'll never turn around. I'll never turn my back on the way his music has made me feel, and what his music has done to pull me out of certain situations that I've been in mentally, and spiritually, straight up. You know, as crazy as that sounds, and maybe that's why I get it. Maybe that's why I understand you, or at least I think I do.
But to take you back from all this, you know, you're interviewing Kanye West, you're the morning show host at the biggest station in Los Angeles.
Crazy.
You were a kid, you know, just doing your own radio show in your bedroom, practicing.
Me and Justin Credible.
Did that radio show have a name?
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. So we were the Team Supreme, right? Because we got that off of a Biggie song, My Team Supreme, Stay Clean. My Team Supreme, Stay Clean. It was the Team Supreme radio show. But that's who we were, and we had these rings, and they were like these crown rings that we had.
You were the kings of bedroom radio?
I don't know. I don't know, dog. You know, we just decided to record ourselves, and no one was listening because we were just doing it in our bedrooms or whatever. Just mimicking Power 106. In hopes that we would be here one day.
I used to sit here thinking like, oh man, I'm gonna be on Power 106, man.
And you made it.
And we made it here. We made it
You
here.
both did.
And yeah, and he was here 7 years before me. And that tells you right there that he wasn't trying to help out his friend. Now that sounds weird, but he wasn't like trying to get me in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to help out a friend. Like we're friends, right? And we're brothers, and we make each other work for.
He wanted you to earn.
He wanted me to earn it, yeah. And I remember my boss now pulling me aside and was like, I got to be honest with you. When I asked Justin, is he ready? Justin told me he doesn't know. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that because you have to show and prove. You got to do the work.
Yeah.
You got to show the work. It's like a math problem. You got to show the work. You got to do it, you know. And I truly had to work for everything.
And you guys, speaking of work, I mean, you guys went and did your thing. At one point, you said you and Justin Credible were living in your car.
In his car.
In his car and homeless. And you said, I think, at one point you were sleeping on listeners' couches. Or,
Yeah.
How did that process work?
Okay, so we went to Fresno, right? It was 4 of us. We had met these 2 people doing a college radio show next to our high school. Long story short, they got a job, and they took us with them, right? As soon as we graduated high school, they got a gig in Fresno. We moved to Fresno. One of them ended up leaving. The other one got let go, and then we were like, yo, we're not trying to go back home. We could have easily went home. I think we were 18, 19 years old at this point, starving. Only I was getting paid, so I'd have to split my check with Justin, which is all good. We weren't doing it for the money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We weren't even thinking about that. That's the beauty of it. Like, we weren't even thinking, like, how are we going to eat? We just figured it out. At one point, we were eating at Walmart. You know, eat free samples, but we were opening the packages and eating, and we'd go home, you know. But that's what we had to do. Listeners would want to come up to the radio station. We'd be like, yeah, bring a pizza though, because we were starving.
Yeah.
We weren't getting no money. So he had a car. I didn't have a car at the time. He had a car. He had like a '80 Mustang, like just old school. His dad gave it to him, so he had something, you know, while we were out there in Fresno. And at one point, we were sleeping in his car. I would be on the air. I was doing nights. He was like literally climbing through the roof, climbing through another studio, fall into that studio, try to hack into the computer, figure out the guy's password, whoever's doing production, and learn production. Bro, that process was crazy, but I would do it again tomorrow if I had to.
What was the biggest thing you learned from that period in your life?
The biggest thing, I mean, trust people, trust your friends.
Well, he's been a go-to guy for you for so long. Like,
Yeah.
you guys have been through so much.
Yeah.
Does it take having someone in this business and who understands what you're going through?
You should have somebody that honestly you can plug into and they can plug into you. You should definitely have somebody. Justin and I still speak every day. It could be 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. Sometimes it's later on in the evening. Sometimes, but we speak every day. And like I could never unload with anyone else the way I do with Justin because it wouldn't be fair to that other person. But Justin just kind of gets it. We're each other's punching bags, you know what I'm saying? But going back to the what I've learned, you learn to be tough, you know what I'm saying? You learn to make it work no matter what you have, you know what I'm saying? At one point we did get an apartment. It was a shitty apartment, but we had milk crates for furniture. You know what I mean? But you just learn inch by inch, you'll be all right. You learn to be tough, and you learn not to take so much so personal. Thank God I learned that very early on, because I see people now, even at this level, they take so much personal. It's really not that. Don't take being broke personal. Don't take door slamming in your face personal. You know what I mean? Because chances are they don't really know you. You know what I mean? They don't really know you like that.
They don't care enough that it's actually directed towards you.
That's exactly it.
Well, I mean, you've had so many crazy experiences. I know Redman, your first interview.
Red, I got to talk to you about my first on-air interview. it was you.
Man, he was so high, he just fell over in the middle of our interview.
I fell where?
You fell over.
To the floor, bro.
No fucking way.
Like, you were expecting people to sleep on you on the come up, but you were
Yeah,
never
yeah,
expecting
yeah.
a rapper to actually fall asleep.
My guy. Yeah, he was so high. And I recently told him about it. Of course, he didn't remember.
You ain't making that shit up, bro.
On my mom.
Get out of here.
I made him laugh, and like he kind of like he was laughing, and then he just fell over, dog. And the record rep picked him up and said, "It was nice, nice interview. We'll talk to you later." You know, and that was that. But that was funny. And again, you're thankful for those moments, man, because they teach you so much. Had I known what I know now, oh my God, I could have made that into. I would have laid down with him.
Yeah. Just wait until you woke
Or
up.
finish the interview laying down if that's what makes you more comfortable. You know what I mean? All good.
That's so funny. But from that, I mean, it's gone from that, a guy falling asleep on you, to you interviewing the biggest names in music, Ice Cube to Cardi B. And
Thank you.
different personalities.
I
mean,
believe it.
now that you've gotten to this point, like the peak, your dream, like you always wanted this. When you go into an interview, or you do a morning show, or you do an event, what are you hoping to accomplish? What's your mindset?
You know, I think of it this way. I think, okay, me and this person are collabing in this interview, and we both got to make it out alive, as weird as that sounds. So I don't go on the attack. I think other cats are doing that just fine. I don't need to do that, you feel me? But I like to have conversations. I like to get into the psyche. I'm a little messed up, so I would like to maybe figure out a few things through that person for me as well.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, like learn from them.
Yeah, I go into any interview hoping to accomplish, number one, just a good interview. You know what I mean? And I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to walk out of this room, walk out of this building, and feel that they can do anything. But we just had Scott Storch in here.
Scott Storch, countless hits, and we have more coming, man.
Yes,
we got
yes.
More work to do,
I gotta
all
play
right?
you some of that new fire too before I leave
Well, I'm
here.
coming over to the crib, bro. That's
Okay,
it.
why not?
We doing that, man.
At first, every artist has their guard up, right? Because of other interviews they've done. But once we get going, I think they feel like, oh, okay, this guy's not going to attack me, you know? And if I do have a question that could be a bit intrusive or could be what some may say disrespectful, I will try to ask it in a different way.
Is there a question that you have asked an artist that you're just really happy that you got off and it was well executed?
Yeah, there's been a few questions where I thought to myself, okay, first of all, thank God I didn't stutter while I asked it because I got nervous. I remember specific moments where I felt like the way I asked it, or thank God I asked it this way. But there's been a few moments where I thought, man, we got it. That's a great question. Let's go. That's gonna work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We asked one specific, Wiz Khalifa. I was like, yo, bro, can you freestyle over everything?
Yo, Wiz, can you write to anything at this point?
What you mean,
If there's a beat, anything, can you just write to anything?
Now I'm asking him to freestyle, right? Which most artists sometimes are not necessarily prepared for that, or don't freestyle, or sometimes it's too early to freestyle. And he was like, "Why? What do you have?"
I have to feel it.
You got to feel it.
Yeah.
You got to feel it out,
Right?
right?
You got a beat or something.
What's that? Well, yeah. Well, happy you ask.
If you're gonna ask, bro. If you're gonna ask.
And I hit the Adele beat.
Hello, how are you?
You know what I mean?
That was a crazy
And
moment.
he just went for it.
One up and let's get high. I am trying to get fried.
And I was so thankful for that, man. And to this day, it's our most watched interview. Another moment where Jay-Z's album hadn't been out yet. Kendrick was here, and the rumor was that Kendrick was on Hov's album. For the interview, his people go, "Don't ask him any Jay-Z album questions." So now I'm like, yo, he's on the Hov album. This was 444, so Kendrick wasn't on the album. Now we know that, but before we didn't know that. So I said,
Kendrick, I cannot wait to hear what you did on this new Jay-Z album.
Oh.
and that's how I opened up the interview, and he laughed, and he saw that that I was trying. You feel me? But
like
you
you respected the attempt.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Yeah, and the balls probably that it
Yeah,
takes. You know what I'm saying? I want to be here for a long time. I want to be here for many years. So I want to be the guy to that. I want to be the go-to guy that if they want a great interview, they got to see Cruz. But I got to get there.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, on that note, you've done such a good job, I think, of being authentic and like keeping your authenticity in a world that's often known for like having a personality or
Sure,
having to put
sure.
on a show.
That's the long way to go, because the short way and the popping way is, so what's good? You been cheated on?
Yeah.
Yo, what's good with you and Tekashi? He hates you, right? Like, I think that's easy, you know what I mean? And people go for it, and that's all good. But we made a decision very early on when we were creating the Cruz Show that we weren't going to go that way. You know what I mean? We were going to do this with integrity, you know?
And it worked out to a point where your actual life has become some of the most successful things for you. Like,
Sure.
you came in and you wanted to do something for your kid
Yeah.
and blend hip-hop, and those videos, those Llama Llama videos,
Yeah,
ended up
yeah.
taking off. Like, how good did that feel that you
Felt
won
so
the
good.
right way?
Hey, Llama Llama, Red Pajama. Reads a story with who? With his mama. Hey.
No, I felt so good, but I remember thinking, like, is hip-hop going to think this is corny? You know what I'm saying? We're singing along to a children's book. It almost seems kind of Sesame
And
Street-ish.
it's a judgmental genre in general.
Absolutely, man. But once we started doing that, then you start really seeing the person like Ludacris, right? A lot of these rappers are dads too. You feel me? Privately, you started really seeing who these people really are, bro, and it was dope to see. And I think that felt good for them as well. Yeah, the Migos, and I mean, and then after that, it was interviews on NPR, CNN, HLN. I mean, it took off, and we're so proud of that. Creating a bit like that, right? It's like having a hit song. You can't be a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
Now you gotta do it again. And that's when we started chasing after Kim Kardashian, and that worked as well.
Yeah.
You know, I had to get a colonic for it.
Radio DJ Jay Cruz of Power 106. Cruz, who's a huge fan of Kim's, decided to play a game called Kim K or Colonic, where he promised listeners, yes, that if Kim didn't follow him by a certain deadline, he would get a colonic.
But
You
well
know,
worth it.
How did it feel going through all that and then finally seeing the follow? Did you think it was done after you got the colonic? Did you
I
think it was
honestly
over?
thought it was over, and I was like, she didn't respond. I got work to do. It's all good, you know? Life has a weird way of reminding you that you got work to do. You know what I'm saying? Just because you're at Power and, you know, you're talking to millions of listeners and you're in Los Angeles, doesn't mean necessarily you've made it. It gets harder once you're up here, and you gotta work for it just as hard as you were working when you were just starting out.
Yeah.
You feel me? But yeah, the Kim K stuff was crazy, and once I got the colonic, I was like, well, at least I did this for the audio, right? The Radiohead. And then that weekend, Saturday I get the colonic, Sunday she responds.
Should I follow him or let him get a colonic? Aren't they good for you? Maybe he should get one.
All good.
I did get the colonic. Man of my word.
And then she called on my birthday, which was crazy.
That was crazy.
Crazy. And again, like, I was just kind of stuck.
Yeah. And
You know?
now you have a cleaner asshole and a Kim K follower.
Bro, I'll take it.
Another thing that you told me very early on that's been really helpful in this journey is to always ask why. I'm wondering for you, you know, doing this at such a high level and waking up so early every day, what's your why?
Today it's my son and my wife, you know what I'm saying? And for the people that we work with. Before that, it was just like, my why was Power 106. That's why. Like, that's why, you know what I mean? I miss so many events, family events. I miss funerals, weddings, birthdays, anniversaries. I missed it all, man, because I needed to get here. I needed to get here. I had to get to Power 106. I got to get back home, you know? But I also realized that you have to leave to come back.
Yeah.
And thank God I learned that very early on with very smart people.
If the California earthquake hit tomorrow, and you had one last morning to talk to Los Angeles on Power 106, what would be the last thing you would say?
I'd just say thanks, man. Thank you for giving me this face, your time. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And
on my one chance on the Power 106 mic right now, I want to say thank you for your time.
Man, thank you, bro.
I really appreciate you sitting down and talk about your journey, but also on top of that, everything else you've done for me and showing me that this is possible.
Yeah, Jamie, you got this, man. And I've seen your interviews. We've sent you out, bro. And it's like, sometimes I'm like, man, this is scary how good this kid is. You know, you have something that a lot of people don't. So don't ever lose that. Don't ever get jaded. Don't ever allow this business or people that you're interviewing discourage you. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate
you're doing well
that.
though, Jeremy, and I'm so excited to see you grow and to see where you're going. You know what I'm saying? And anything you need from us, you already know, Jeremy. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, you guys have done so much, but thank you so much
My
for
guy,
your kind words.
appreciate
This
it.
has been the best Jay Cruz
Yeah.
interview ever.